Alrighty. So I saw the movie After Death a couple days ago, and just a warning, spoiler alert. I mean, it's a nonfiction documentary type thing, but I'm gonna kind of give you some facts that if you want to watch the movie and kind of be more struck by what they present to you, you might not want to watch this video until after. But anyway, you've been warned. So let me just give you my perspective. I think that God, the afterlife, and consciousness are three puzzle pieces that we really haven't figured out how they fit together. But I believe that they're all related. And on a kind of a side note, I also think that psychedelics are either part of that puzzle or maybe a tool that we could use to help figure out that puzzle. That's just based on what my experiences have been. My kind of history with religion, I was raised Catholic, and I later kind of divorced myself from some of the key components of religion. Like, I don't believe that Jesus was divine. I think he was an awesome person that had some amazing lessons to teach humans on how to live, but I don't believe in divinity, little stuff like that. So I can't call myself a Christian, but I my moral compass was shaped by Christianity. As far as how we're supposed to treat each other, blah blah blah. So I went from that to kind of agnostic atheism, but I still always kept those morals. And more recently, so I didn't believe in souls or an afterlife or anything like that, but just through my experiences and things that I've learned, I've come to have kind of a unique belief in a God, and an afterlife and souls. And I believe that there's more to this world and this existence than just what we're able to see, touch, feel, that kind of thing. And movies like this, honestly, are things that are some of the things that have changed my opinion on that. So let me just give you a couple quick things that stuck out to me and kind of my reaction, and it's not going to be too long. But the first thing that stuck out to me was that there was a medical doctor. So they talked to people who experienced near-death experiences and people who researched near-death experiences and people who wrote about it and that kind of thing. One of the things that struck me was that there was a medical doctor who was a skeptic in the whole thing, and his big thing was he wanted evidence that could be corroborated. And the way he did that, imagine a situation where somebody's dead, flatlined on a table, and people are operating or trying to resuscitate and that kind of thing. He would interview, and they bring the person back to life, and they claim to have had an out-of-body experience where they're like floating in the top of the room and they see what's going on in that room. So he would interview the person who was flatlined, who claimed to have this experience, and record things that they claimed to have seen that they would not have been able to see because their body was unconscious, flatlined, without heartbeat, on the table. But they would claim to know how, or they would say how many times they shocked them with the I don't know what they're called, but the shocker to restart the heart. They would know where they cut them open. They would know details about what went on in the room. And then, so this guy recorded those details, and then he found people who were also in the room, but, doctors, nurses, that could corroborate whether these things were true. And he found tons of instances where he could corroborate this evidence that was being presented by the person who was dead. So that's pretty striking. It was kind of cool because it took a pretty non-religious perspective. Some of the experiencers, they would use the word heaven. Some of them used hell, because most of the experiences were great and amazing, and they felt love and peace, and but some of them felt like they experienced hell. And my opinion is that I kind of think it's all one place, and the people that had the bad experiences, they were just experiencing something different. But it's not two different places, in my opinion. Again, most of the experiencers, and there was even one guy who was an atheist before his experience, but they almost seemed to have no choice but to use the word God to describe kind of what they encountered, because it was sort of like a being in certain points, in certain people that they experienced. And that was pretty striking. And another thing, the one last thing that I found striking was that a couple different people said that it wasn't like they were alive and then dead. It wasn't like going from alive to I'm not alive anymore. It was like they were alive and then they transitioned to the state where they were more alive or more aware. Like colors were brighter. Vision was more high definition, like for lack of a better descriptive. And going back to psychedelics, another reason why I think that these are connected, that's kind of what happens. Somebody described to me being under the influence of LSD as like high definition reality, and I kind of feel the same way. It's like it's definitely, the colors are brighter. Like that's a common descriptive phrase that you hear. Sounds have more depth. You see more meaning, and you kind of, I don't know, me personally, like I sense things, especially with interpersonal kind of situations. I can almost sense what a person's thinking, what their intentions are, much more so than when I'm not under the influence. So that's kind of another reason why I think psychedelics are related to this whole afterlife consciousness, this mystery of where consciousness comes from. And movies like these kind of give us clues. Countless people have experienced near-death experiences where they appear to go to this supernatural place and experience these supernatural things, and they attain this profound wisdom and from their experience. And it's a fascinating thing, and I would highly recommend this movie to anybody, regardless of what you believe or what your religion is. It was pretty cool. It's a good watch. It can be kind of intense, but it was presented in a really good way, and I appreciate you still being here if you are, and I'll catch you on the next one.